Welcome back to the channel, and today we have episode 6 of our expansion franchise series with the Nashville Stars. In the last episode, we were able to get through the month of September and August, or at least halfway through September, and we kind of decided that we aren't going to be able to have a chance to make the playoffs. So we have decided to just go ahead and just bite the bullet and focus on next season. But in doing that, we called up a few players while we were at it, and those two players will be highlighted today. The first player being a pitcher, Mick Abel. He was one of our top prospects that we drafted way back in episode 1 during our expansion draft. We'll get him some work out of the bullpen. I thought about putting him in the starting lineup, but our starting lineup has done well for the last couple weeks. He's been struggling here as one of our long relievers, but we'll throw him in, get a couple of innings of work out of him, and see how he does. He has some decent stats here and there. His velocity's all right, a little low for a top prospect nowadays, but it is very serviceable. His pitch mix is very good with that circle change, curveball, sweeper, and slider combo, and then that four seam to top it off. So I'm pretty excited about him. I'm looking forward for him to be a top guy down the line. Probably not next season, but maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, being in our rotation at some point. And then our next guy is going to be Edgar Quero. He was also called up during September call-ups. He's a switch hitting catcher that we've covered multiple times so far. His fielding's really going to carry him here. Again, he's a young guy, 21 years old. He's not going to be in the majors for at least another few seasons, but we want to give him some time in the majors, at least for 1 month during September call-ups. He may not get called up next year because it may screw with his MLB service time and his contract, so we're just going to go ahead and call him up this year, see how he does, and see what he does well and see where he needs to improve. He has improved pretty much all across the board with that B potential. He's really developing very quickly, so that's good to see. So let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay, cover some of our top prospects, and we're going to advance to the end of the year and into the offseason and see who we can sign in our very first free agency. But we will join the team here in Colorado as Edgar Cabrera was on the bump to start the day and actually had a good outing, going scoreless through 5 or so innings, but we will bring Abel on in relief as Cabrera is getting up 90 plus pitches. We don't want to work him too much, but you can see Abel 2 games so far in the majors, only just under 6 innings pitched. Not a great ERA above 6. That's not what you want to see. First batter to face him is Tovar, and first pitch swinging, and that is gonna be over the wall. See you later. 2-run shot by Tovar, his 28th of the season. And that is not how you want to enter a game here in relief after the game is 0-0. And that'll be a break in the tie. But Abel's going to have to get this guy out. Estrada will ground to first base, and that will be the end of the 5th, but not before the Rockies strike first. And you can see the pitching this series above a 10 ERA is just never going to cut it in any series. But the Stars have gotten back to even 2-2 here. After we had a walk and miss ball, we'll put a runner on second. A nice grounder to Keith, an easy play at first. That'll be a first out of the inning in the bottom of the 6th. 2-2 count here against Hunter Goodman. As the slider down and away, and he'll get to it somehow. Through the infield it'll go. As that pitch looked to be about a foot off the plate, and Goodman somehow got to it. That'll be 3-2 ball game as Brenton Doyle is up to bat and takes one for a ride, but that will be just outside the foul pole. Luckily for Abel, that will miss a 2-run shot as he gets him swinging and missing on the circle change for his first strikeout of the day. As we get another look at it here through the StatCast, that looked like a very good pitch. 4 inches of pitch break, 1200 spin rate, and you can see it just drops off the table here as Doyle just completely whiffs on it. And that circle change looks to be a very good pitch. We haven't used it much today, but we're going to try to bring it back if that's the success rate we see. As Nolan Jones takes the batter's box, and he's swinging on the dirt pitch right there for strike number 2. And that was a nice curveball down in the dirt, but comes back with the circle change for the putout. Second strikeout of the day as Abel has fully settled in here after giving up that 2-run shot and that kind of, I don't want to say blue pit, but kind of a interesting hit through the infield, as he will come back against Mick Mahone and throw another circle change and another strikeout as Caratini gets the putout at first base. Taglia 0 for 2 today, facing Abel for the first time, and that'll be a sweeper down the middle of the zone. No offering it there for the 4 strikeout backwards K of the day. Another batter and another strikeout to end the 7th. This time a slider at the knees. And Abel is cooking here for the Stars. And he is fully settled into this game. And that'll be another swing and miss as the runner advances to second base after Caratini couldn't glove it. That'll be another strikeout, a little bit below the zone, but he does get the benefit of the doubt from the umpire. His 6th of the day, as it is a nice grounder to Keith. And that'll be an easy out. Thankfully, he's able to make that play after he did give up one earlier that allowed 2 runners to get on. Botch there at second. But that'll be the end of the day for Abel. A great outing so far. 6 strikeouts. He did allow 5 hits and 2 earned. But I think that circle change has been a very good pitch to discover. I think that could be his dominant pitch, even though it's his 5th slotted pitch on his player. And I think it's going to pay dividends for him down the line. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's go ahead and jump into our second game with Edgar Quero. As he takes the lineup against the Rangers, he'll be playing this whole series as we get a little bit of a glimpse of him as his first outing in the majors. As he'll be on top of that one by Gray, the curveball at the knees. Great timing, though. Just wasn't able to get on top of it. As we'll see him behind the dish as he's going to be able to pop out of that stance and get over there and make a nice put out. And that is one of the things that we do like about Quero. He's a very good fielder, so if he can keep improving his bat, he will be a very good day-to-day player once he gets into the majors. But that'll be a line drive into the center field, right in front of the center fielder, as that'll be his first hit and first RBI of his professional career. Oh, man, what a time to witness that. What a time to witness here as they give Birdie his first hit ball. I'm sure he will frame that one and put it up in his house. But a good way to go down there and get that pitch. I will say I don't love his batting stance or his swing, the two-handed there. This looks kind of funky at times. But if he can get hits, it doesn't matter how he swings the bat as long as he puts it in play and drives that average up. But he will swing and miss on a circle change, just too late on it. Another offering by Gray as this one doesn't sneak through the infield this time. And that'll be the end of the top of the 5th. Back here, fourth at bat of the day, swinging and missing again on that circle change. He's had some issues with that circle change. Hasn't really been able to dial it up today. More of a fastball hitter, it seems, after that hit in the 3rd inning. 97-mile-per-hour fastball up and in. We'll get the pop out to left field as we will take the loss. Game 2 now, trying to end a 5-game losing streak here on the road against the Rangers. Quero up for his first at-bat of the day. He'll be facing Evaldi on the bump. And Evaldi is a very good pitcher. Has been a dominant pitcher over the past few years. Full count, 2 outs, and he will settle down. Nice vision there to get the walk and get on base in his first at-bat. But Evaldi comes back with a 97-mile-per-hour heater on the black at the top of the zone for strike number 1. 2-0 ball game, top of the 4th, a splitter down and in very early on that. A good change of speeds there by Evaldi. We'll put him on his back heels as he swings at another well in the dirt. He'll be put out at first. Not a great swing there by Quero, but hopefully he can settle down in the later innings. But he's going to swing and miss for another strikeout today. We're coming up to game 3. We will be facing Jacob deGrom, one of the scariest pitchers in all of the major leagues when he is healthy. This will be one of the biggest tests of Quero's young career as he slides in a 99-mile-per-hour fastball for strike 1. Coming back, and he gets on top of the curveball, but he shoots it right to Seager at shortstop. Great timing, just wasn't able to get under it enough to drive it out of the infield. That'll be an out. As a pass ball gets past, 2 runners in scoring position now for Quero as his average has dipped below 100. Only his first 10 or so at bats. 1-2 count as he swings through it, and that'll be another strikeout, his 3rd in his last 5 at bats. But this time, Quero will get the best of deGrom if he drives one through the infield. Close play at the plate, but that will be called safe. So that is another RBI by the young catcher as he breaks the tie of this game. 2-1 now, top of the 8th. Quero checks his swing, but it's a called strike 3 after it hit him back behind the dish. Quero will call his own pitch, and it'll be right to the shortstop Hamilton. An easy put out to get out of the 8th inning. Still tied here. On to extras. Runner in scoring position leading off this inning, and that'll be a perfect up the middle. It won't sneak through the gap, so he'll halt at first base, but that'll be his second RBI of the day as he puts the Stars back on top 3-2. But it won't last for long, as we'll be here in the top of the 12th, batting once again, game tied at 4, and it'll be a mousy pop-up to end the game here. But after getting out that 3-game stint against the Texas Rangers, we went 0-for-3, and we have fallen to 76-81 after that Phillies game accidentally simulated. We are 5 games below 500. We don't have a chance. We're going to go ahead and get into the rest of the season, but I kind of do want to touch base with the 2 guys that we just covered a second ago. First, we're going to touch on Mick Abel. He was able to actually have a pretty good start after that first couple of batters that we kind of screwed him on. We were using too much fastballs, but we kind of figured out that his circle change is an absolute dominant pitch. So that's really good. That's kind of why we touch base with a lot of these prospects, just to kind of see who they are and see what they're going to be good for down the line. I think he'll be a very good starter down the line once he gets to the majors, but he's going to be back down in AAA next season, being our AAA ace for sure. But he's going to have another year to develop at least. He's developing pretty well, you can see here. I mean, even in that most recent game where he faced the Rangers, he didn't do anything too crazy, but he was able to showcase that circle change for sure. That is a dominant pitch, has a ton of movement on it, and is going to be really, really decisive in a lot of at-bats. So I'm very excited about his future prospects for the team and in the lineup down the line. And then our other guy that we showcased was Edgar Quero. He was actually able to get a couple of RBIs and his first major league hit with us, which is pretty impressive. He's very young, still 21 years old. He's probably the youngest prospect we have right now that we didn't just draft in this last MLB draft. So he's got a lot of years to develop. I'm not even sure if he's going to make a huge impact in this series, simply because we may get to a point where we're winning World Series, and we may end the series soon after that. That's the whole goal of the series, is to win a World Series, maybe a couple down the line, try to build a dynasty there. But he may not showcase that much just because he's so young. Typically, players get brought up around that 25, 26-year-old age. And as a catcher, you're not going to develop that fast, even though he is developing really well here, you can see. And he was able to, like I said, get his first hit as a major league player, which is super, super cool. He was also went 2 for 6 in that last outing with 2 RBIs, which is awesome. But he did have 2 strikeouts in the day prior and the day of that game. So he has 4 strikeouts and 13 at-bats. Not great, but hopefully he can cut down on that. But outside of that, he did pretty well. He filled in well for a series. I'm not really going to use him much, probably, in the rest of the series, like I said. But we're going to try to go ahead and get to the end of the season, simulate a couple weeks, get into the postseason, see who wins, and then get into free agency and set up a game plan to get the best players we can. We're not going to offer too many people. We'll get into that in a second. We'll see who we can offer, and we'll try to see who we can put on our team to give us the best chance at competing next year for a wild card spot and possibly the division. And as we come into the playoffs, we had an absolute terrible month of September. I mean, we lost, it looks like 10 or 15 games in a row, man. We did end it on a win, though, against the Mets, 5-4. That was really only for pride. 77-85. Nothing to call home about, but honestly, not a terrible season for a first-year team who doesn't have a player over 75 or didn't have a player over 75 overall to start. Let's go ahead and look at the end-of-season stats and see where we place. We're probably going to be in the bottom third of the league and everything, but I'm interested to see where we sit in a lot of categories and see if Jonathan Loaisiga was actually able to close down and get the Reliever of the Year award for this season. But touching through here on the most valuable player, obviously Shohei Ohtani is going to always be at the top. He was able to capture it this year. And then Corey Seager on the other side was able to get it. So he has his second MVP of his career, which is pretty cool. And the first as a Texas Ranger. And then moving on to the Cy Young, Blake Snell was able to secure it over Chris Sale, who actually had a dominant season as well. All 3 of these guys did well. Shohei Ohtani almost went with a Cy Young and an MVP, which is absolutely insane. And you can see the Cy Young for the AL was Clark Schmidt of the Yankees, followed by Luis Castillo and Garrett Cole. So the Yankees also had 2 Cy Young attendees. Batting title went to Robert Acuna Jr. and Jordan Westberg. And the Reliever of the Year award was Emmanuel Clase for the American League. And Jonathan Loaisiga for the National League. He secures it for us with 49 saves, a 1.41 ERA with 35 strikeouts. They didn't have a ton of strikeouts, but he had a ton of saves and was just able to come in clutch in so many different scenarios. And just an absolute exceptional season. 70 innings of work, 49 saves. He only had 3 blown saves this year, so not too terrible. He did showcase himself in 68 games, about a third of our games played. Yeah, man, I'm just really excited. A 1.05 whip, which is really, really exceptional. And I'm just really excited about him. We were able to re-sign him to a few-year deal, 4 years or 3 years, $50 million through his 33-year-old season. So hopefully he doesn't regress before then. But man, that's his first All-Star appearance this year, first Reliever of the Year award as well. So he looks to be on the up and up, and I'm really excited about him over the next few seasons for us. But moving on, we can see that Kobe Mayo got the Rookie of the Year award with Rocky Sasaki of the Dodgers. So the Dodgers just absolutely insane, man. They're going to be a tough team to beat every single year. And then Hank Aaron Award goes to Shohei Ohtani and Corey Seager. Pretty obvious there. Then we can get through the rest of these Gold Gloves and stuff. I'm not going to show each and every one. I will try to cover Victor Caratini, though, the Gold Glove catcher with almost 1,000 put out percentage. He had over 1,000 put outs, 86 assists. Very good for us there. So he should be a very good player for us for the next few seasons for sure. And then George Springer also got a Gold Glove in right field. That's his first Gold Glove award. He's never worn it before. So as a 35-year-old, he finally focuses in on fielding and is able to get it. So that's pretty awesome as well. I'm not sure that we'll have any Silver Sluggers. I'd be very surprised if we did. I don't think anybody on our team added above like a 260 throughout the full year. So let's go ahead and get into the team stats and just kind of see where we did, and then we'll just simulate through the postseason and see who wins. So looking from the bottom to the top here, we're not in the bottom three, which is really good for batting average. The Yankees are at 26th in batting average, which isn't good. Judge did lead with the 292, which is pretty obvious, but we're here at 23rd, so a little bit better than I thought. David Hamilton actually did go above that 260 mark that I mentioned in just a second ago. Cole Keith, who was projected to be our #1 batting average leader, only came in at 249, so not too hot. Hopefully he can go a little bit higher next season. I think they project him around that 280 mark, but anyways, 23rd in the league. Not terrible start as an expansion team, but hopefully we improve over the next few years. We weren't too hot as a power hitting team, so that's something we'll have to focus on down the line. A lot of that was Jock Peterson just not really being there for us. I thought he was going to be a lot better in that power department, but he just wasn't there. Didn't really show up most of the year. We had 144 ahead of teams like the Cardinals and the Nats, who are division rivals for us. So we didn't do too hot in the power department, but hopefully we can pick that up down the line. But something I am very, very happy about, we were 4th in steals with 161, only a handful, 17 behind the Brewers for first place. Christian Yelich led the Brewers in stolen bases, which is interesting because they have a ton of fast guys on the teams like Jackson Cherio. He's super fast. I'm not sure how Christian Yelich pushing above 30 was able to lead it there. But David Hamilton with 33, Blanco with 29, and then Birdie with 23 as well. So our team's very fast. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully we can improve upon that next year as well. And then moving over to our pitchers, coming for our ERA, we actually had the 22nd best, so not too hot, just under 4. Our starting pitcher, Joey Cantillo, had a 3.73. This definitely isn't the team leaders by any means. Jonathan Loaizaga was a 1.41 as well. I think Cantillo had a really good breakout year as a rookie. I'm very excited about him and his future prospects for sure. He's going to be our ace going into next year. And then we're going to demote Cabrera just because he had such a miserable year. Hopefully he can pick it up in that 2 spot. But we had to make a change for sure. Cantillo is going to be our starter next year. And he's been very good this year, so hopefully he can keep improving. But looking at strikeouts, we actually did pretty well. We're 15th here with 1137. Detmers was the team leader with 162 strikeouts. Cantillo followed him with 139. And then nobody else on the team was above the 100 mark. But everybody, I guess, pitched in a little bit here and there. So that's pretty good. Hopefully we can improve on that. Hopefully we can improve on everything. We're not, top 3 in anything. We were top 5 in stolen bases, so that's not too bad. At least if we can maintain that, we'll be pretty good on the base pass. But let's go ahead and get into the playoffs and see how that pans out. And taking a look here, you can see the whole playoff bracket, which is pretty interesting. The Dodgers lost to the Mets, which was a revenge series from last year's World Series where the Dodgers got the best of the Mets. But the Mets went on to sweep the Twins, who made the World Series. The Yankees lost in the ALDS, a powerhouse team that lost. I'm not sure how they did, but the Twins went on to sweep the Orioles in the ALCS. Very interesting stuff. I'm very surprised as the Mets came from the wild card all the way to the championship and then were able to sweep them. So the Mets are your 2025 World Series winners this season. We didn't have any retirees, but Max Scherzer will get inducted to the Hall of Fame class. A 17-year career, absolutely dominant, above that 3,000 strikeout mark, only 5 away from that 3,500. and only about an inning and a third away from 3,000 innings, which is absolutely absurd. A great pitcher, finally hangs it up, and he's inducted it, rightfully so, into the Hall of Fame. But now we are officially in the offseason, and we have a lot of things to do. First of all, we have to sign back a bunch of players because we're not going to have anybody in the roster if we don't sign it back at least a handful of free agents that we already have. So we're going to try to get a cheap discount on those guys. We also have to hire a new manager. We're going to try to keep all of our managers to a B average. So whether that is we get all Bs or we get 2 A's, 2 Bs, 2 Cs, or however we want to do it, 3 A's and 3 Cs, we're going to try to average around a B since we're not going to be the highest paying team. We're not going to be able to get the best managers, best hitting coach, and all that stuff. So we're going to keep it around a B average, which will give us good prospects down the line. So I'm not too upset about that. And then we have to go try to find free agents around the league. Again, I'll explain that in just a second about how we're going to attack free agency from here on out. But let's go ahead and try to see who we can sign on our own roster and see if we can get some good pickups for cheap. So one of the first players I want to pick up is Victor Caratini. He's been very good for us. He's progressing. He has a B potential now, which was up from a C. So he should be a steal. His lefty contact's very good. His fielding's very good. He was a solid player for us all year, batting around that 250 mark. Not too great, but above his career average for sure. The OPS was a below league average, so 685. If he can bump that up to above 700 this next season, that'll be very, very good. He can also play first base, so if he's not feeling in at catcher, he can also fill in there, or he can be a DH. So I'm going to try to sign him and see if we can re-sign him for very little hassle. So we're going to settle on a 3-year deal for $17.5 million, which was him at $5.8 million. We offered it to him. Hopefully he'll sign for it. If we can keep him, he's going to be a very good piece to add down the line. And then another guy we're going to look to sign is Josh Daumont. He's a relief pitcher. He is kind of old at 32, but after having an incredible year with a 2.82 ERA and almost 100 innings of work, I think he more than deserves a shot at this roster. So we're going to go ahead in here and make him an offer. I'm not sure where we want to land. I think we're going to land on a 2-year deal for him just because relievers can kind of regress pretty easily in this game. So I want to kind of not sign us up for too much of a deal. So we're going to try to offer him $4.9 million per year for 2 years. Hopefully he settles down for that and stays with the Stars. But if not, we'll offer him a little bit more. He had an exceptional season, so I think he deserves it. I just want to see if he'll take a hometown discount for this year. But outside those 2 players, I don't really see us wanting to offer anybody else. Josh Bell, I'm on the fence at. He's 74 overall, but he is 33 years old, and he didn't really have that good of a season, batting under 250, and he really didn't hit for power, 16 homers, nothing too crazy. He does have some decent quirks in breaking ball hitter and rally monkey, so if we're down a little bit, he's going to perform a little better. He could be a good guy just to pick up. He's pretty durable. He's going to probably play every day if we need him to, and he's a switch hitter, but that fielding is pretty atrocious, and I think we might be able to find a better first baseman in free agency. I'm not sure. I can't see the free agents currently. I just don't think that he's going to be a great piece for us to add. Who knows? We may pick him up regardless in free agency if he's still there, but I think we're not going to offer him an offer at this moment. And like I said, I was going to average a B across all of our coaches. Right now, we have 5 coaches signed. I'm not going to fire any of them. I just feel like that's kind of cheesing the system if you can just fire everybody. So we only have 1 year left on most of these guys, so we'll have to hire a bunch of guys next year. But right now, we have 3 coaches with a C and then 2 coaches with a B. So we're going to go ahead and offer ourselves an A manager, which is probably the best position to have an A manager. So let's go ahead and see who we can hire. First off the top is going to be Dave Roberts, an insane guy if we could pick him up. +2 power, +3 arm accuracy, hits per 9, and home runs per 9 going up 3 for our pitchers. Would be a great guy to get. He may be a little bit too expensive for us, but we'll go around and see who we can hire, and we'll see who we pick. And I think the first coach we're going to offer here is going to be Chris Woodward. He looks to be really good. He's an A. He has plus everything, +3 power, which is really good for us, and +3 speed, which we're already a fast team, but why not make us just a little bit faster all the way through? And then drag bunnings whenever, but he does give +1 to stamina for pitchers. I think we're going to offer him a 3-year contract. He's wanting $7.6 million per year. I don't know if we can really offer him that. I mean, it probably shouldn't be offering him $7 million anyways. I mean, we do have a ton of money to offer, but I don't want to, go blow up the pocketbook in the first year of us being the GM. So we're going to go ahead and just offer him a 3-year, $21 million deal. He may reject this. He may go sign with another team, but I think there's plenty of other managers that we can get. So this is going to be our first offer. We're offering him low ball. We're offering him a chance to get on the ground floor of a future dynasty. And that was quick. We haven't even got the free agency yet, and he's already rejected our offer, and he's gone somewhere else. So we're going to go back to the drawing board and see if we can pick up somebody else. Julian Guzman looks very, very good. -2 plate discipline, which is what it is, but +3 contact, +1 stamina, and +2 speed, right up our alley. So let's go ahead and see what he wants and see if we can beat that 4-year, $23.8 million deal. And he looks to be a little cheaper than the last guy, but we're going to go ahead and offer him a 3-year, $18.4 million deal, which is a little bit more per year than the Pirates, just 1 year less. So we can offer a new contract down the line if we want to. But we're going to submit this and see if he accepts it. Hopefully he does. He looks to be pretty good. I'd be excited to have him as our manager. But for some reason, he goes to the Pirates, even though we offered him more per year. I guess he just liked the more security in the 4-year deal. So it's back to the drawing board once again. So we are going to go offer Jose Rivera. I think this is honestly might be slightly better. +2 power, which we really haven't been able to hit for power. +3 plate vision. -1 stamina, but honestly, -1 stamina isn't really that big of a dip. And then +3 stealing. So we should be smarter in the base pass. I think this is a good deal. He hasn't been a manager before, so he's going to be new, just like we're new. He's 44 years old, pretty young, so he could be here a long time. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's go ahead and offer him, and hopefully, third time's a charm. Let's see if he comes to the Stars. Oh, it was not meant to be. The Dodgers must have offered him the bag, man, because he didn't like our offer. I don't know what's going on. This is honestly harder than probably signing any free agent that I've ever done before. So fourth time's a charm, baby. Let's get it. All right, now as our fourth coach is going to be Mark Cochran. I don't love the -1 break, but it's only -1. But he does have +3 contact and +1 fielding. The arm strength is what it is. It's going to make our catchers just a little bit better. Nothing too crazy. We'll be able to make our fielders, get the ball over to first base a little quicker. He's being offered right now 4 years, $20 million by the Brewers. So we're going to go ahead and offer him 4 years, $21 million. Screw it, 21.5. We got to have somebody. Let's see if we can get him. We're going to go a little bit above, maybe overpay, but this is going to be the fourth coach we've offered in about as many days. So hopefully we can secure him in. But that will be it for episode 6. As we are neck deep into free agency, you can see the top 6 free agents here going into the offseason. So in the next episode, we'll be able to cover who we're going to sign in our free agency, how we're going to sign players, some of the restrictions we're going to give ourselves so we don't just power creep too fast. But that'll all be in next episode. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll catch you all in episode 7. And a huge shout out to Chris, our very first premium channel member. Thanks for all your support, man. It's really appreciated.